In the beginning, there was nothing. Not the nothing of empty space, but the nothing of potential. A void where time and space were but whispers, where the threads of countless mythologies intertwined like the roots of an ancient tree. This is where I reside, where I have always resided. I am the watcher, a being outside of time, outside of creation. My purpose is to observe, to record, and, when necessary, to intervene. But something has changed. The boundaries between worlds, once firm and unyielding, have begun to fray. The Norse realms, with their icy winds and roaring seas, now brush against the sunlit peaks of Olympus. The primordial chaos of Greek creation whispers to the ordered cycles of the Norse cosmos. And in this strange, liminal space, two forces stir, forces that were never meant to meet. Jörmungandr, the world serpent, and Typhon, the father of monsters. Their names are spoken in hushed tones, their stories told to warn and to awe. But what happens when the stories collide? What happens when the serpent that encircles the world meets the storm that shakes the heavens? This is the tale I must tell. Deep beneath the icy waves of Midgard's ocean, Jörmungandr slumbers. Its massive coils wrap around the world, its tail resting in its mouth, a symbol of eternity, of endless cycles. For eons, it has lain here, waiting for the day when it will rise and bring about the end of all things. But something disturbs its rest. A vibration, faint but insistent, pulses through the water. It is not the rumble of Thor's hammer or the crash of waves against the shore. It is something other. Something foreign. Jörmungandr's eyes, each as large as a mountain, flicker open. The ocean churns as it stirs, its massive body shifting for the first time in centuries. The creatures of the deep flee in terror, their instincts screaming of impending doom. The serpent feels it too, a pull, a call. It is not a sound, not a voice, but a sensation that resonates in its very being. Something is drawing it upward, toward the surface, toward the unknown. And for the first time in its existence, Jörmungandr obeys. Far away in a realm of fire and ash, Typhon rages. Imprisoned beneath Mount Etna, his massive form is bound by chains forged by the gods themselves. His serpentine body writhes, his countless heads snapping at the air as he struggles against his bonds. The earth trembles with his fury, and the skies darken with his rage. He has been here for millennia, trapped by the Olympians who feared his power. But Typhon is not one to be contained. He is chaos incarnate, a force of nature that cannot be tamed. And now he feels it, a shift in the fabric of reality. The chains that bind him weaken, their divine power flickering like a dying flame. Typhon roars, his voice shaking the heavens, and with a final, titanic effort, he breaks free. The mountain explodes, sending rivers of molten rock cascading down its slopes. Typhon rises, his massive form blotting out the sun. His eyes, burning with hatred and hunger, scan the horizon. He feels it too, a pull, a call. It is not the call of the gods, nor the cry of mortals. It is something ancient, something primal. And Typhon, ever the harbinger of chaos, answers. I watch as these two forces awaken, as they begin their journey toward each other. I know what they do not, that their meeting is not chance but fate. A fate written long ago, in a prophecy forgotten by gods and mortals alike. The prophecy speaks of a meeting between two serpents, one of order and one of chaos. It speaks of an artifact, the Ouroboros amulet, a symbol of infinite cycles. And it speaks of a choice that will either restore balance or plunge all realms into eternal chaos. But there is more. The prophecy was not written by the gods, nor by mortals. It was written by the Elder Worm, a being older than time itself. A being that seeks to use the serpent's power to break free from its prison and consume all of existence. And so I must intervene. But I am bound by rules older than the stars. I cannot act directly, cannot stop what is to come. I can only guide, only warn. And so I whisper to the winds, to the waves, to the very fabric of reality. Beware the meeting of the serpents. Beware the Ouroboros amulet. Beware the Elder Worm. But will they listen? Jörmungandr rises from the depths, its massive form cutting through the waves like a blade. The skies darken as it moves, the air thick with the scent of salt and storm. It does not know where it is going, only that it must follow the pull, the call. Typhon soars through the skies, his wings casting shadows over the land. The earth quakes beneath him, and the seas boil at his passing. He does not know what awaits him, only that he must answer the call, the pull. And I watch, my presence unseen, my voice unheard. The threads of fate are weaving, the cycle turning, and the meeting of the serpents draws near. The threads of fate are tightening, weaving a tapestry of chaos and order. I watch as Jörmungandr and Typhon move inexorably toward their destined meeting, drawn by forces they cannot comprehend. The Ouroboros amulet, the artifact at the heart of the prophecy, pulses with a faint, otherworldly light. It is the key to everything, the balance, the chaos, the end, and the beginning. But the path to the amulet is fraught with peril. The gods of both pantheons sense the disturbance in the cosmos. They fear what the meeting of these two serpents might bring, and they will do everything in their power to prevent it. And then there is the elder worm, the architect of this prophecy. It watches from the shadows, its ancient eyes gleaming with malice. It knows that the serpents are coming, and it is ready. The journey has begun. The threads are unraveling, and I can only watch and whisper and hope. Jörmungandr surges through the ocean, its massive body cutting through the waves like a blade. The pull grows stronger with every league it travels, guiding it toward a destination it cannot yet see. But the serpent is not alone. High above, the skies darken as storm clouds gather. Thunder rumbles and lightning splits the heavens. Thor, the god of thunder, has come. Jörmungandr, Thor's voice booms like the crash of 1,000 storms. You dare awaken. You dare leave your place beneath the waves? The serpent pauses, its massive head rising from the water to meet Thor's gaze. Its eyes, cold and ancient, reflect the fury of the god. I do not seek conflict, Jörmungandr hisses, its voice a low rumble that shakes the earth. But I am called. I must answer. Thor's grip tightens on Mjolnir, his hammer crackling with energy. You are a harbinger of Ragnarok, a bringer of the end. I cannot allow you to roam free. With a roar, Thor hurls his hammer. The weapon streaks through the air like a comet, striking Jörmungandr with the force of a collapsing star. The serpent reels, its massive body writhing in pain, but it does not fall. You cannot stop me, Jörmungandr growls, its voice filled with a quiet, terrible resolve. The threads of fate are woven. The cycle turns, Thor attacks again, but Jörmungandr is ready. Its massive tail lashes out, striking the god with enough force to send him hurtling through the air. The battle rages, the ocean churning and the skies burning with lightning. But Jörmungandr is not here to fight. With a final, powerful surge, it dives beneath the waves, leaving Thor to roar in frustration. The serpent's journey continues. Typhon soars through the skies, his massive wings casting shadows over the land. The pull grows stronger with every beat of his wings, guiding him toward a destination he cannot yet see. But the giant is not alone. Ahead, the air shimmers as a figure materializes. It is Zeus, king of the gods, his eyes blazing with divine wrath. Typhon, Zeus's voice is a thunderclap, shaking the very fabric of reality. You dare escape your prison. You dare defy the will of Olympus, Typhon snarls, his countless heads snapping at the air. I am chaos incarnate, Zeus. Your chains cannot hold me. Your will cannot bind me. Zeus raises his hand and a bolt of lightning streaks toward Typhon. The giant roars as the energy courses through his body, but he does not fall. You are a relic of a bygone age, Zeus thunders. A mistake that should have been erased. Typhon laughs, a sound like the cracking of the earth. A mistake. I am the storm that shakes the heavens, the fire that consumes the earth. I am the end of your reign, Zeus. The two clash, their power shaking the world. Lightning and fire fill the skies, and the earth trembles beneath their fury. But Typhon is not here to fight. With a final, powerful beat of his wings, he breaks free from Zeus's grasp and soars into the distance. The giant's journey continues. As the two serpents draw closer to their destination, I feel the threads of fate tightening. The Ouroboros amulet pulses with a faint, otherworldly light, its power growing with every passing moment. But there is more to this prophecy than even I first understood. The elder worm, the being that created the prophecy, is not merely a passive observer. It is an active participant, manipulating events from the shadows. It seeks to use the power of Jörmungandr and Typhon to break free from its prison and consume all of existence. And it is not alone. The amulet is guarded by a powerful entity, a being that exists outside of both Norse and Greek mythologies. The Elder Worm has bound this entity to its will, using it as a pawn in its grand design. But there is hope. The amulet is not merely a tool of destruction. It is a symbol of unity, of the eternal cycle of creation and destruction. If Jörmungandr and Typhon can overcome their differences and work together, they may yet restore balance to the cosmos. But will they? Jörmungandr emerges from the ocean, its massive form coiling on the shore. The air is thick with the scent of salt and storm, and the skies are dark with the promise of chaos. Typhon descends from the heavens, his massive form casting a shadow over the land. The earth trembles beneath his weight, and the air crackles with energy. The two serpents meet at the edge of the primordial void, their massive forms coiling around each other as they prepare to battle. "You are the world serpent," Typhon growls, his voice filled with disdain. "A creature of order, bound by the whims of the gods. And you are the father of monsters," Jörmungandr hisses, its voice cold and ancient. "A being of chaos, driven by the desire to destroy." The tension is palpable, the air thick with the promise of violence. But before they can clash, a voice echoes through the void. "Wait, it is the Watcher," my voice cutting through the chaos. "You are both pawns in a game you do not understand," I say. "The prophecy that brought you here was not written by the gods, nor by mortals. It was written by the Elder Worm, a being that seeks to use your power to consume all of existence." The two serpents pause, their eyes narrowing as they consider my words. "The Ouroboros amulet is the key," I continue. "It is a symbol of unity, of the eternal cycle of creation and destruction. If you can overcome your differences and work together, you may yet restore balance to the cosmos." The silence is deafening as the two serpents consider my words. And then, slowly, they turn to face each other. The tension between Jörmungandr and Typhon is palpable, their massive forms coiled like springs ready to unleash chaos. The air crackles with energy, and the primordial void seems to hold its breath. I watch from the shadows, my presence unseen but my voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "You are both pawns," I say again, my tone firm but not unkind. "The Elder Worm has manipulated you, weaving this prophecy to serve its own ends. If you fight now, you will only fulfill its design." Jörmungandr's cold, ancient eyes narrow. "And what would you have us do, Watcher?" "Trust each other. We are not allies." Typhon snarls, his countless heads snapping at the air. The serpent speaks truth. "I am chaos incarnate. I do not ally with order." I step forward, my form shimmering like a mirage. "You are more alike than you realize. Both of you are forces of nature, bound by the whims of gods who fear you. Both of you are destined to bring about the end of your worlds. But this is not your destiny. Not yet." The two serpents exchange a glance, their animosity momentarily tempered by curiosity. "The Ouroboros amulet," I continue, "is the key. It is a symbol of unity, of the eternal cycle of creation and destruction. If you can retrieve it, you can restore balance to the cosmos. But you must do so together." Jörmungandr hisses, its voice low and rumbling. "And if we refuse, then the Elder Worm will consume all of existence," I reply. "Including you." The silence that follows is heavy, the weight of my words settling over them like a shroud. Reluctantly, the two serpents agree to a temporary truce. Their journey takes them through realms both familiar and strange, where the boundaries between mythologies blur. The air is thick with the scent of magic, and the ground trembles beneath their combined power. As they travel, they begin to experience visions, glimpses of each other's pasts. Jörmungandr sees Typhon's rebellion against the Olympians, his fury as he challenged Zeus himself. It sees the chains that bound him, the centuries of imprisonment, and the burning desire for vengeance that fuels him. Typhon, in turn, sees Jörmungandr's role in Ragnarok, the end of the Norse world. He sees the serpent's eternal slumber, its quiet acceptance of its role in the cycle of destruction and rebirth. These visions are not shared willingly. They are forced upon them by the amulet's power, a reminder of their shared nature. "You are not so different," I whisper, my voice echoing in their minds. "You are both bound by fate, both feared by the gods. But you are also more than what they have made you." The serpents do not respond, but the tension between them lessens, if only slightly. At last, they reach the heart of the primordial void, where the Ouroboros amulet rests. It is a place outside of time and space, a realm of swirling mists and shifting shadows. The amulet itself hangs in the air, pulsing with a faint, otherworldly light. But they are not alone. A massive figure emerges from the shadows, its form shifting and indistinct. It is the Elder Worm, the being that created the prophecy. Its eyes burn with malice, and its voice is a low, guttural growl. "You have come," it says, its tone dripping with mockery. Just as I foresaw, Jörmungandr and Typhon coil defensively, their massive forms bristling with power. "You manipulated us," Jörmungandr hisses. "You sought to use us for your own ends." The Elder Worm laughs, a sound like the cracking of the earth. "And why should I not? You are tools, nothing more. Tools to break my chains and unleash my power upon the cosmos." Typhon snarls, his countless heads snapping at the air. "We are no one's tools." The Elder Worm's eyes gleam with amusement. "We shall see," with a roar it attacks. The battle that follows is titanic, the likes of which the cosmos has never seen. Jörmungandr and Typhon fight side by side, their combined power shaking the very fabric of reality. The Elder Worm is a formidable foe, its form shifting and changing to counter their every move. But the serpents are not easily defeated. Jörmungandr's massive tail lashes out, striking the Elder Worm with enough force to send it reeling. Typhon's countless heads breathe fire and lightning, their combined fury overwhelming the ancient entity. Yet the Elder Worm is not without its own power. It strikes back with claws and fangs, its attacks fueled by centuries of hatred and malice. The battle rages on, the primordial void trembling beneath their combined might. As the fight continues, I watch from the shadows, my heart heavy with the knowledge of what must come next. At last, the Elder Worm falters, its form flickering like a dying flame. Jörmungandr and Typhon press their advantage, their attacks relentless. But the Elder Worm is not yet defeated. With a final, desperate effort, it lunges toward the Ouroboros amulet, its claws outstretched. If it reaches the amulet, all will be lost. "Now," I shout, my voice echoing through the void. Jörmungandr and Typhon act as one. Their massive forms coil around the Elder Worm, their combined strength holding it in place. "Do it," Typhon growls, his voice filled with grim determination. Jörmungandr hesitates, its cold eyes meeting Typhon's. For a moment, there is understanding between them, a bond forged in battle. Then, with a final, powerful surge, Jörmungandr strikes. Its fangs sink into the Elder Worm's form, and Typhon's countless heads breathe fire and lightning, their combined power overwhelming the ancient entity. The Elder Worm roars in fury, its form dissolving into nothingness. But the battle is not without cost. As the Elder Worm fades, the Ouroboros amulet pulses with a faint, otherworldly light. The balance is restored, the threads of fate rewoven. But Jörmungandr and Typhon are weakened, their massive forms trembling with exhaustion. "It is done," I say, my voice filled with quiet relief. The balance is restored. Jörmungandr hisses, its voice low and rumbling. "And what of us? What happens now?" I step forward, my form shimmering like a mirage. "You have fulfilled your destiny." The cycle is unbroken, but the threads of fate are ever-changing. Typhon snarls, his countless heads snapping at the air. "I am chaos incarnate. I do not belong in a world of balance." "Perhaps," I reply. "But even chaos has its place in the grand design." The two serpents exchange a glance, their animosity tempered by the bond forged in battle. "Farewell, Watcher," Jörmungandr says, its voice filled with quiet resolve. "Farewell," Typhon growls, his tone grudging but respectful. And with that, they part ways, their massive forms fading into the mists of the primordial void. As I watch them go, I feel a sense of quiet satisfaction. The balance is restored, the prophecy fulfilled. But the threads of fate are ever-changing, and the cycle is unbroken. Somewhere in the depths of the void, a faint ripple stirs. The next cycle has already begun. The primordial void is silent, the echoes of the battle fading into the mists of time. Jörmungandr and Typhon have parted ways, their massive forms disappearing into the depths of their respective realms. The Ouroboros amulet, now dormant, hangs in the air, its faint light a reminder of the balance that has been restored. But my work is not yet done. As the Watcher, I have observed the threads of fate for eons, guiding and whispering when necessary. But now it is time for the final revelation. I step forward, my form shimmering like a mirage, and address the void itself. The cycle is unbroken, I say, my voice echoing through the cosmos. But the threads of fate are ever changing. The balance has been restored, but it is fragile. And there are forces that seek to disrupt it once more. The amulet pulses faintly, as if in response to my words. I am the spirit of the Ouroboros, I continue, my voice filled with quiet resolve. A manifestation of the eternal cycle of creation and destruction. My role was to ensure that the balance was maintained, even if it meant manipulating the serpents to achieve that goal. The void is silent, but I know that my words are heard. Deep beneath the icy waves of Midgard's ocean, Jörmungandr returns to its slumber. Its massive coils wrap around the world once more, its tail resting in its mouth, a symbol of eternity, of endless cycles. But something has changed. The serpent's eyes, cold and ancient, flicker with a newfound understanding. It has played a part in preserving the balance of the cosmos, and for the first time in its existence, it feels a sense of peace. The cycle is unbroken, Jörmungandr hisses, its voice a low rumble that shakes the earth. But the threads of fate are ever-changing, and with that it closes its eyes, its massive form sinking into the depths. Far away in a realm of fire and ash, Typhon retreats to the shadows. His massive form, once filled with fury and chaos, now trembles with exhaustion. But something has changed. The giant's countless heads, once filled with hatred and hunger, now flicker with a newfound understanding. He has played a part in preserving the balance of the cosmos, and for the first time in his existence, he feels a sense of purpose. The cycle is unbroken, Typhon growls, his voice filled with quiet resolve. But the threads of fate are ever-changing. And with that, he fades into the shadows, his massive form disappearing into the mists of time. In the depths of the primordial void, the elder worm remains imprisoned. Its form, once filled with malice and hatred, now flickers like a dying flame. But something has changed. The ancient entity, once filled with a burning desire to consume all of existence, now trembles with fear. It knows that its time has passed, that its power has been sealed away. The cycle is unbroken, the elder worm hisses, its voice filled with quiet despair. But the threads of fate are ever-changing, and with that, it fades into nothingness, its presence lingering as a reminder that the balance is always at risk. As I watch the serpents fade into their respective realms, I feel a sense of quiet satisfaction. The balance has been restored, the prophecy fulfilled. But the threads of fate are ever-changing, and the cycle is unbroken. Somewhere in the depths of the void, a faint ripple stirs. The next cycle has already begun. In the depths of the primordial void, a faint ripple stirs. The air is thick with the scent of magic, and the ground trembles beneath the weight of ancient power. A figure emerges from the shadows, its form shifting and indistinct. It is a being of immense power, a force of nature that has been dormant for eons. But now it stirs. The figure's eyes, cold and ancient, flicker with a newfound understanding. It knows that the balance has been restored, but it also knows that the threads of fate are ever-changing. And it knows that its time has come. The figure steps forward, its form shimmering like a mirage, and addresses the void itself. The cycle is unbroken, it says, its voice echoing through the cosmos. But the threads of fate are ever-changing. The balance has been restored, but it is fragile. And there are forces that seek to disrupt it once more. The void is silent, but the figure knows that its words are heard. And with that, it fades into the mists of time, its presence lingering as a reminder that the balance is always at risk. The story concludes with a reflection on the nature of chaos and order, and how they are two sides of the same coin. The encounter between Jörmungandr and Typhon serves as a reminder that even the most fearsome beings can find common ground when faced with a greater threat. The cycle of creation and destruction continues, but it is through unity that balance is maintained.